Hey everyone, so wanted to do a little video update. It's been a little bit, um, but I have a few things to share with you. The first thing I'm going to mention is I have online counseling starting on Wednesday night. I just felt the need and I prayed about it and talked to some other people about it, some family and some friends, and made sense to them why I'm switching counselors and going back to online counseling. There's just some issues that are in my past and that go along with the addiction struggles that I have that I really need someone right now, and God's leading me in this direction um, to have that online counselor because they're going to be trained in it and they are trained in it. That will be very, very helpful to be able to get through some of these things and pass some of these things. So I kind of have a little story that goes along with it because God's timing is always best, and He knows what we need at the right time. So I was thinking about this and praying about this for quite a while now, for like the past month at least. And I've been searching for an online counselor that is trained in these things. So I went to Focus on the Family because they have a big network of counselors, Christian counselors. And I looked and looked and looked for a counselor that would be that would fit for the amount that was willing to be paid because a lot of them are very, very expensive, especially those that are specifically trained in certain areas. They that sometimes that tends to make the price go high, but also too if they live in a big city, sometimes that can hike up the price. So I've been looking and looking, and I had looked for like at least a week, like almost every day. I was looking on the Focus on the Family site, and I couldn't find anybody. So so what ended up happening was a few days ago, and that's how fast this happened. A few days ago, I had an inkling to go to one of my friend's church's website um, because on their church's website, it's called Mount Hope Church, and it's in Lansing, Michigan. But they have this place called the Gilead Healing Center, and they focus on healing for the whole self. So spiritual, emotional, physical, mental, all of those things. And they have a few counselors that work with them. Well, I ended up finding one that I, I thought could work or whatever. I clicked on it, filled out this form, and from what I found out, the counselor that was on the website, on the church's website, wasn't specifically like she couldn't do telehealth, which is what I need for this. And so I was like, okay. And they ended up texting me saying that one of the other girls, one of the women who does telehealth, she's trained in that particular area. And I was like so thrilled. So then I ended up finding out that she is a little bit younger than me, which I was kind of surprised about. She's in her mid 20s. But I was thinking like that might be a good thing because I've struggled with like just over time, like there's just been a lot of things. And I love my girlfriends, but the ones that I do have, like the solid ones I have. But I've struggled with female friendships greatly, and that's something I'm definitely gonna talk with the counselor about because it's been a huge problem through the years, through school years, and even into college. Like that was a thing. Um, but anyway, and so yeah, that might be a good thing that she's a little bit younger than me and around my age. But another thing I found out was that she struggled with health, which I definitely have. I've had chronic illness issues. Um, so she'll be able to understand me on that. And I also found out, because I looked at her LinkedIn page, because I can get curious sometimes. Um, but she is a freelance writer. And part of that probably is she probably does almost all online work because of her health condition. So I found that very interesting. And then I also found out that she was a mental health intern in Cambodia, which is amazing. Like, just there's just so many things in common, and I'll be able to really relate with her on that stuff. And if there are days when I just need to talk about good stuff, because I think there are some times in counseling where where I'll need to talk about just good stuff to get my mind sometimes off of the rough stuff. But anyway, so there's that little piece of news, which is amazing. And so that happened, and then yesterday, some of you already saw, but I finished a rough draft of my second full length book, which is exciting. And I do want to shout out somebody because she is now my new editor for my books, and she will be designing the covers for my books as well. So shout out to Iris Brown. I really, really appreciate you. And you have been such a big supporter of my books. And I also want to shout out Nathan. They're married, and they both have been huge supporters of my writing and just me in general. They've been such great friends. And yeah, just all my other friends who have supported my writing. Thank you. And it's very, very possible too. This is another big piece of news, but I will most likely be at Spring Arbor University for homecoming. I will most likely be a vendor, which means I'll be able to sell some of my books, and I'll also be doing a book signing. So for people that already have my books, you can bring your books to my booth that I'm going to have, and I can sign your books. And if you want to buy a book, great. If not, that's perfectly fine too. If you just want to talk about them, or just whatever, talk about whatever, that'd be great. So that's exciting. And yeah, and then another thing that happened this past week. So I've already talked about this a little bit, but when it comes to the addiction I struggle with, a lot of my friends have as well. And over the past couple of days, a few of my really close friends, they shared with me that they have been struggling recently as well, like last month, or even like within the past couple of weeks. And I was honestly feeling kind of alone in the struggle, and because a lot of my friends are farther ahead than I am, so I played the whole comparison game. But them sharing that with me really, really motivated me, actually, in a kind of a bizarre way. But it made me feel very, very much less alone, in that I'm going in the right direction, and I just got to take it day by day like they are. And they still fail, and they still sin and fall into sin, and so that really just helped me out, because confession, I think, really does help us out as believers, because we're like, oh, well, they struggle too. Like, I'm not alone. And the confession brings healing as well. I fully believe. So there's just some pieces of information I wanted to share with you, but I will definitely keep everyone updated on the counseling and how that's going periodically, and also with my books. I have an author page, and so I invited all of my friends to this author page. So if you haven't liked it yet, feel free to. If not, that's perfectly fine. I'm just not going to be sharing. I shared one post about that on my regular Facebook because I wanted to make sure that the people that were in the thank you section got a thank you, and were shouted out. But for the most part, I'm going to be having my updates on my author page. So if you're not following that, please, if you feel so inclined, you can follow that. And if not, that's okay. You just won't get very many updates about my books and whatnot. So, but yeah, I hope that you guys have a great day, a great weekend. And I love you all. And I so appreciate all of you. Since I don't have a whole lot of people on my Facebook, it makes it nice because I'm not super overwhelmed by things, by just a lot of posts. And I so appreciate you, and it's really nice to see what's going on in your guys' lives as well. I miss all of you, and I hope and pray that you guys can keep growing in Christ as well. And yeah, thank you just so much for everything, everyone. And I know God's got a plan, and no matter what the enemy tries to throw at me, no matter the lies he tries to get me to believe, I know that I just got to keep it one step at a time, and make the choice, sometimes minute by minute, to obey God, and follow what He's leading me to do, and say no to the enemy, and say no to my flesh. But sometimes I lose, and if I lose, I pick myself up and keep going, and let God continue to heal me. And that's why prayer is so important for our brothers and sisters in Christ, because you have no idea, like, unless they tell you, like, you don't know what they're struggling with. And it could be that addiction, could be another addiction, could be just internal things that we're struggling with, our mindsets or pride or whatever it is. And so I'm praying for each of you, and just know that I care about you all, and God cares about you most of all. And yeah, so I hope that, again, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.